Module 2. Myths and Legends.
Life in the past.
What did people do in the past? In the past, things were very different. People wore different clothes. These people lived 400 years ago. These are the clothes they wore. And this is the food they cooked. This is Strawford 50 years ago. And this is Strawford as it is today. Things used to be very different in Strawford. There wasn't a supermarket in Strawford 50 years ago, but there is one now. There were only small houses 50 years ago, but there are blocks of flats now. There is a cafe in Farrell Street now, but there wasn't one 50 years ago. There were houses in Bridge Street 50 years ago, but now there's a library. There were fields here 50 years ago. Now there's a garage selling petrol.
Remember days gone by.
About halfway between Scotland in the north and London in the south is the beautiful countryside of Yorkshire. It's mainly a rural area with cities here and there, and Yorkshire has a lot of history.
Much of the history is preserved in small old towns. In some of the historical towns you can find the original cobbled streets winding their way uphill. These Yorkshire streets are often narrow, with rows of houses close together on either side. Most of the houses are built of stone, and some of the shops in the old towns have been preserved to look just like they were more than 100 years ago.
And this area is also the setting for some very famous literature. Probably the best known is the novel Jane Eyre. Now, it was written by Charlotte Bronte, who was born in the North Yorkshire town of Thornton in 1816.
The Bronte Museum.
And this is the Bronte Museum, a great place to find out more about Charlotte Bronte and her novel Jane Eyre.
Charlotte Bronte and her sisters Emily and Anne were the authors of some of the greatest books in the English language. Haworth Parsonage, now the Bronte Museum, was their much-loved home. And it was here, in this room, that most of the novel Jane Eyre was written. The house still retains the atmosphere of the Brontes' time. The rooms they once used are filled with their furniture, clothes and personal possessions, so you get a real sense of what life must have been like for the family in the mid-19th century. Anne Dinsdale is the librarian at the Bronte Museum. What sort of person was Charlotte Bronte?
On the surface, she was a very quiet, demure sort of person, but we know that she was fiercely passionate and ambitious. She looked very much like the character Jane Eyre. She was very tiny, very plain, or she certainly considered herself to be very plain.
What is Charlotte's novel Jane Eyre all about?
Jane Eyre is an orphan who has to make her own way in the world, and it's really the story of her adventures, how she goes into governessing and falls in love with her employer.
Jane Eyre and its characters really come to life when you read the book itself.
One of the United States' most famous citizens was the playwright Tennessee Williams. He lived in the 20th century. Here are some facts about his life. He was born in 1911. His full name was Thomas Lanier Williams. He won 2 important prizes in drama. One for his play, A Streetcar Named Desire, and another for his play, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Tennessee Williams died in New York City on February 25, 1983. But he was such a good writer that his plays are still performed today.
So, what kind of films do people in the US like to watch? Let's find out.
Hey, Rick Riddell here, and we are at Movie Co Cinemas, where I will be asking, what kind of movies do you like to watch? Hey, I'm Rick Riddell. What kind of movies do you like to watch?
I like animated sci-fi.
Animated sci-fi. And what movies don't you like?
I don't like romance.
Hey, I'm Rick Riddell. What kind of movies do you like to watch?
I like to watch comedies.
Comedies. And what movies don't you like?
I really don't like drama.
Drama, no drama. Okay, thanks. Hello, I'm Rick Riddell. What kind of movies do you like to watch?
I like all kinds of movies.
All kinds of movies.
Yes.
And what don't you like to watch?
Really, I don't like to watch scary movies.
No, you get scared?
I do.
Okay. Hey, I'm Rick Riddell. What kind of movies do you like to watch?
I like to watch romance movies because I can watch them with my boyfriends and pretend like I'm in the movie.
And what don't you like to watch?
I don't like to watch horror movies because I get nightmares.
Okay. Thanks.
What do you know? Did you know that in 1870, before the days of air travel, George Train, an American businessman, went all around the world in 80 days? Well, what do you know? Do you know that the composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart wrote his first piece of music when he was only 5 years old? Well, what do you know?
Auntie Janet's fascinating facts.
Some people work harder than most. Take Benjamin Franklin, for example. He was renowned during his lifetime for being a soldier, a scientist, and a famous politician. He started working for his father at the age of 10. He used to spend his days making candles and soap. Or how about Picasso, the famous French artist? He produced 13,500 paintings in his lifetime, and he also made 300 works of sculpture. Wow.